meowdy, and welcome. My name's en-viss, my pronouns are they, them, and this is my Flosstube channel, Sleepy Goblin Crafts, where I talk about all things cross-stitch and sometimes other things I like. Today, I have a very exciting haul to show you guys later on. I have, I guess, what you would consider my first successful vintage thrift of some cross-stitch patterns that I want to share with you guys. And I actually have quite a few finishes as well. A few. I have 4, but you know, a finish is a finish. So grab a snack, something to drink, get comfy, and let's get going. Returning viewers, and welcome to anyone who has stumbled across my channel for the first time. I hope you like what you see. If you do, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. It is greatly appreciated. I do want to point out we are almost at 100 followers. Yay! Did not think we'd get there this quickly. I mean, quickly. It's been a few months, so that's just subjective, but for as long as I have been posting online across the board, like my art and other things along the way, this has to date been my most successful venture into posting online, which is honestly so wild to me because posting art feels very like you set yourself up to have kind of fierce competition sometimes when you're an artist, because in my head I'm making up, you know, competition with fellow artists of like, am what I'm creating, is it like unique enough? Is it good enough? Like, fundamentally, is it good enough? That sort of stuff. So to jump right into cross stitch and start posting my whips and everything, to have people go and just like start immediately following me. The community within the stitching community is completely different from the artist community. And I think it helps that cross stitch is a little bit more involved. Like, obviously there are people who watch Flosstube who don't cross stitch. And that's perfectly fine. But with art, a lot of the time, artists who post online, I would think it's safe to say that the majority of their followers might not necessarily be in the same craft as them. Like, don't get me wrong, I follow a lot of artists as well, but it's not like they engage with me immediately back. Whereas in the stitching community, it's a lot more likely to happen. Again, it's like comparing apples to oranges. Art, online art, drawing, like the digital art community, that whole thing. I mean, digital art is completely different from traditional art. Like, painting on a canvas is not the same as painting digitally in like Procreate. So comparing art and the online art community to fiber arts is comparing apples to oranges. It's just very different for me, where I've come from a completely different type of community where it's very much like an outsider looking in as an artist when I'm posting online, because engagement is so vital but also so hard to get. Whereas posting my cross stitch online, I get random people all the time liking my stuff and commenting, people that I've never interacted with, and that's so so foreign to me because I'm not used to that kind of engagement. So that is all to say that I am incredibly grateful for how kind and accepting y'all have been. So that being said, once we do officially hit 100 subscribers, I would like to do a small giveaway, probably a pattern or something. So I guess, because I want to say we are around 10-ish off the top of my head. I don't really remember. It's like between 10 and 15. So hopefully by the next time I post in a couple of weeks, I can share the giveaway. Now that that's all out of the way, let's get started with our finishes. I have 4 finishes. Well, okay. I have 3 finishes and a mini finish to share with you guys. First is a half-assed attempt at a fully finish. This is something that I worked on during Spring Mingle. I started this for my mom for Mother's Day. This is Wicked Without Coffee. This is this is a part of Primrose Cottage Stitches 13 Spooky Smalls book. My mom gifted that for my birthday, and this felt like a very appropriate small to make for Mother's Day for her. So like I said, this is a half-assed attempt at a finish. I was attempting to follow a flat finishing tutorial when maybe not even halfway through, I realized I did not have double-sided tape for the fabric, nor did I have a proper board to finish it on. So what ended up happening is this is just cardboard, and I did not even lace it. This is glued together with fabric glue, hence the whatever is going on with these edges. Notice how this is not straight. So the stitches are supposed to be on top of a board, which is then supposed to have been glued to the fabric, which is on a separate board. Following that, the stitches are supposed to have also have like a border of rickrack. Obviously none of that happened. And when I finished it, I looked at this and I was like, I can't in good conscience give this to my mother. So, folks who have done a fully finished realized it's hot shit, and have y'all dismantled your finishes before? Have you successfully dismantled them and remade them? I mean, I'm cutting it close with these margins, and it's not like this was an exceptionally hard thing to stitch. I can quickly restitch it. I would rather not, but help. I would like to give this to my mom. I showed her a picture of the pattern, and she really likes it, so she's like, yeah, that'll go up in my office at work. And I was like, great. Now I need to make it look even nicer, because it's going up at work. That's not true, but you know. Statistics. This is stitched on 14 count fiddler's cloth. Technically with the called for DMC, I mean, it's 3 DMC. It's 310. It was a purple and a yellow. Technically, the purple and the yellow are actually not the called for. I just dug into Stash and grabbed an appropriate purple and yellow. The spider's really cute. I think I said that last time. If you have dismantled finishes before, help, please. Next is my Stitch for Pride. I finished May's pattern, which is the Chevalier d'Eon. Let me tell you what. Le Chevalier, messy. I love her. Her history is fascinating. I was so enthralled with the lessons for this month. On the surface, Dee provides a basic breakdown of who the historical figure is. So on the surface, we have a trans person who was a spy for the French court, who spied in not only just the English court, but also the Russian court. It gets so much deeper than that. I'm not going to go into all of it because it is very convoluted, honestly. Like, there's a lot of depth to it. Ultimately, the Chevalier basically spent her entire older adult life acknowledged as a woman by the French government, and it was like a whole public ordeal. The Chevalier was basically publicly, like, they were publicly displayed, I guess is the best way to describe it. Like, they had people come up to them and ask them, are you a man or a woman? Like, are you really a man? Are you really a woman? And this is really the first time, I think, in the lessons that we're seeing a modern representation of a trans person in going through a very life-changing experience. I mean, by the end of their career, they very much, like, openly acknowledged that they were a woman, but there was a lot to the transition, not just publicly, but personally for them. I mean, outside of them being a spy, they were part of the Dragoons, which is like an incredibly, like, elite army faction. And by the time that they were publicly, like, acknowledged as female, they were no longer allowed to wear their dragoon armor. So not only are they struggling with one part of their identity being but changing, they are now also having to contend with another lifelong identity that they can't publicly acknowledge, because they would wear their dragoon armor out in public. Like, that was the custom. And they couldn't do that any longer because they had to wear women's dresses in public. So yeah, Chevalier d'Eon, very messy. Love it. Loved every second learning about her. So this, as always, is done on 18 count resistance by Mislaid Pages. I am doing this with the called for DMC conversion. Only difference is this middle motif I did in ecru. I did not use the called for DMC conversion for it, because as with all of the other motifs, of course, April's is on the edge. As with all of the other motifs, I am doing one section of the pattern in a contrasting or opposite color. Not really complementary, but so this is being considered a mini finish, because the sal is 12 months long, and I don't want to consider it a full finish because it won't be a full finish until the entire sampler's done. Now that long ramble's out of the way, my next finish is Pixel Prelude. This is a design by Flossie Fox Shop. I did this on 14 count Sunset, which is a printed Charles Craft Ada. Printed being the back side is white. The front is not. It is colored. I had a really, really good time working on this. It was just small enough. There was quite a few color changes. Obviously, it's a rainbow. But it was just enough stitching in most places that it felt like really satisfactory. Like I would do the outline of like the small bits, and then I would, once I was done with all of the outlines, I would move in and do the block color. And I just also really love how the dragon turned out. He's really cute. He's he's the bicolors, minus the green wing, but he's blue, purple, and pink. So he's really cute. It's really cute. I think, don't hold me to this, but I think what I'm going to do for a full finish of him is, when I am comfortable enough making project bags, he's going to be one of my first cross stitch project bags, like the ones that you like put a cross stitch pattern or finish like on the project bag itself. I think I'm going to do that. He feels like the appropriate size. So, like I said, don't hold me to that. I have no idea when that'll be, because I still need to make my first project bag, and I don't even have zippers. So we'll see how long that takes me. My last finish is Lover's Promenade. This I did on my first foray into working on linen. So this is 28 count Mocha by Stitch Me. And I loved working on this. I didn't know how I would like working on linen, and I get it. It's really fun. It definitely takes some getting used to, because there were a couple of places where I would accidentally go either over 1 or over 3. So, you know, definitely some getting used to, like where there are slubs and things like that. But I just I really loved working on this. This is by Sprouting Lupine. This was a free pattern that you got if you subscribed to her newsletter. I don't know where it is available right now. So you might just need to wait until there's like a public release. But I could have sworn she might have a link from her Instagram. I'm not quite sure. It might be on her Ko-fi. Does she have a Ko-fi? I don't know. I did this with the called for DMC. And honestly, my favorite part are these fucking leaves. Look. Look at them. I love them. The red backstitch on these is great. It was a good time all around. And now I am officially down to just one Sprouting Lupine. For now. Let's move on to whips. Yes? So, for my works in progress, you know her, you love her. Court of Crows by Fine Frog Stitching. I have started on part 10, which was released this morning. It is the Crow Princess, starting on her head there. Last release was this, technically the last release were these flowers for the princess. The release before that was the Baneful Banner, I think is what it was called, which is the Talon holding the sword. So I am stitching this on 18 count Caw, which is the called for fabric. It's by Witch's Garden Craft, and I am doing this in the called for DMC. So, hopefully I can knock out finishing the princess tomorrow. She has about 300-ish stitches, but I don't know if that includes the border, like the frame, which I've already done. Either way, it's a good time. I'm doing this 1/1, and honestly, the little details, they add up. They truly add up, especially when you look at it from this distance. It's been a good time. Next work in progress is Nature's Journey. This is also by Sprouting Lupine from the Just Cross Stitch magazine. This is the year-long stitch-along that they are hosting. The summer portion's already out, but I don't plan on starting that until the summer solstice. So my goal is to finish the spring portion by June. Preferably get to like 65-70% so I can finish the spring portion before the summer solstice, so I can start the summer part on the summer solstice sort of thing. I'm about 50% based off of how I'm marking it off, because the PDF you can't put in, like, I wasn't able to successfully put it into markup, and I'm not masterful enough to digitize it. So working off of the 2 pages, I'm almost done with the first page. Literally all that's left on the first page is like the start of the bee that's right here, and then the rest of the like the second page. So I'm basically 50% done, which is great for me. This I've been focusing on the last couple of days, and it's gone pretty quickly. I am so in love with how this hydrangea turned out. Like, that is like 3. Are you gonna focus, please? Come on now. Thank you. The colors in these blues, absolutely gorgeous. I also really love this strawberry plant. It's super cute. So, like I said, I've been working on this pretty much every day for the last few days, and I hopefully can knock out more of the basically mini motifs, which is honestly great. It makes you feel like you're finishing even more. So I am doing this on 32 count cypress from Fiber on a Whim, doing 2/2. And as you can tell, it's not in the Nerge hoop like it has been the last couple of times I've showed it. I've also ironed all of my things that I'm showing today. Have you noticed? Who am I? So I realized basically, yes, I do have enough length for this to work this. Like, I imagine, because this is basically, this right here is like the 50, like that's the halfway on the page, right? So let me pull this back. If I take this chunk, which is 1 page, right? Put that there. That's spring, right? And if we just duplicate that, boom, boom, I have enough margin. So I felt safe enough to take it out of the Nerge hoop. I was gonna need to move it for summer anyway. So I'm also not probably gonna be stitching it on that big hoop right now. Just because it's kind of a pain in the ass to work on a surface area that's that large when I'm not concerned about the back stitches getting caught in the hoop. It'll be fine. Like, so I'm gonna work on this on a smaller hoop next time. So this is honestly such an enjoyable stitch. Like I said, each time you finish one of these small pieces, it feels like a mini finish, and that motivates me even more to keep working. So I'm really excited to finish spring. The next part that I'm probably gonna work on is gonna be the bird nest that everybody loves with those speckled robin eggs, and then I'll pop in the bee and we'll go from there. My last whip is something that I haven't shown you guys in a couple of episodes. This is my tail ends project. This is Darling Starling by Modern Folk Embroidery. I am stitching this on 16 count fiddler's cloth. If you are unfamiliar, I got the idea from Michelle Bendy of Bendy Stitches. But basically, a tail end project is what it sounds like. You take your tail ends, your thread ends, and put them into a piece. Doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't have to be a sampler. Could be honestly anything. Most of the time, from what I've seen, they do go into samplers, but it's usually a length of floss that is not necessarily long enough to go back into your stash, but it is long enough that you don't want it to go to waste. So this was me double dipping. I wanted to see first if I enjoyed working on samplers. The answer is yes. Go figure. And two, if I liked the idea of a tail, not the idea, if I liked executing a tail end project, which yes, I do. It feels less wasteful with my thread. The reason I started on such a small sampler was, again, I've never worked on a sampler before. I wanted to make I should say a traditional sampler. I did a Winter Forage sampler by Stitch Sprout as one of my first projects, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. But I should say a traditional sampler. Didn't know if I liked that. So I picked this small from Modern Folk Embroidery as a test. And with that, I was like, this is small enough that if I really don't enjoy doing a tail end project, it's gonna be a quick finish, so it'll be out of my life relatively quickly. Suffice to say, yes, I do enjoy doing tail end projects because this is fun. I love this. I've started on the two birds up here. Finished the alphabet. So, yeah, no, it's good. Feels less wasteful, and it's funky because colors. Don't ask me which projects these colors are from. I had quite the backlog of thread from projects. If I were to guess, let's see. Okay, so this white, these blues, and these pinks, those are probably from Metamorphosis, which is the butterfly pattern from Bad Stitch. This red and I think these greens are probably from Lover's Promenade. And then, okay, yeah, these blues and purples are probably from Pixel Prelude. But yeah, I really like it. It's funky. It's fun. You should consider doing a tail end project if you don't have one to work on. It is genuinely quite a lot of fun. Okay, so what have I started on? I have 2 starts. One from Spring Mingle and one from this past week. I mentioned this in my last video, but one of the things that I started on at Spring Mingle at the beginning of the month was The Herbalist by Loombug. And here is my start. Just working on the outside border and the outline of the top shelf. I'm not rushing to finish this or work on it really. I'm just happy to have it started. This is being stitched on 32 count light hazelnut by XJU Design. And yeah, I mean, it's it's a relatively small start. I got how many stitches did I get into this? 64, 133. So I got like 200-ish stitches into this. Haven't touched it really since the beginning of the month, so I'll probably work on it some in June. But like I said, it's not a priority for me to work on. I just wanted to get this started, and I'm happy I did. And my final piece of cross stitch to show you is the Burrow Tales Stitch Along, which is by Quaternion Creations. Don't mind the hanging thread. I am stitching this on 18 count Oaken by Picture This Plus with my own floss conversion. This is my first conversion. I mean, it's a very simple conversion because it's only 3 colors, but instead, because Quaternion Creations, she lists simple colors. She has a black for the main color and then 2 accent colors. So there is a red and then there is a green. I wanted to do something a little different. So I mean, a lot of people converted the brown the black to a brown, which I am doing everything in Pirate and Robin, which is fantastic. I really enjoy working with Pirate and Robin thread so far. It's been very, very nice. So this brown is the color Mushroom. This green is the color Moss. And I was trying very hard last night to get to a point to start on the owl that's in this first part, so I could start on the variegated thread that I got for it, but I want to be good and get the block fill in for the tree. So that's what I've been working on, hence the hanging thread. But the third accent color, which I've also kind of changed from the pattern, the animals are all the main, so far they're all the main color, but I want the animals to be in the variegated thread that I got. So that will be Woodland Breeze, which is a brown, like a blue to brown variegated thread. The name was very appropriate, so I snagged it up. So yeah, this is about 60%, 62% according to markup. So once I finish the rest of the fill-in on the tree, I will get the owl in, and then I will move to the other side and start part 2, which is the squirrel. This will be easy to catch up on because the parts are released every 2 weeks, and there is a week or 2 catch up, I believe, in between every 2 releases. The stitch along goes through October, so if you want to join along, you have plenty of time if you want to join. So yeah, this is, I'm really, really enjoying this. So the green and the brown have very, very subtle variegation. Like, I don't really know if you can tell in this lighting, but it's cloudy today, so it is actually kind of hard to get decent color. There we go. But you can kind of tell there is a very, very slight variegation. Now, I am doing this over 1 over 1, I should clarify. So I will continue working on this, get the fill-in done on the tree, work on the owl, and I can't wait. This will be my first time working with I don't want to say true variegation, but it'll be the first time working with like a significant color variation from blue to brown. So I really can't wait to see how it looks. I'm excited. So that is all of my stitching. Let's move into plans, because I do have quite a few plans for June, because first of all, it's Pride Month, so who am I to probably not stitch on a gay pattern or two. Just up my starts, up my whip count. It's June. Who gives a fuck, you know? But it is also the strawberry moon in June. I'm sure you're aware, everybody and their fucking mother talks about the strawberry moon sal that Marjorie Maid hosts and puts on. It's a very good sal. Like, I'm not, like, I'm gonna start Strawberry Cat Farmer by Stitch Sprout. I've been eyeing this for ages. And the Strawberry Moon Sal, seems like an appropriate time to start. Just saying, could be fun. So that is on my to-do list for June. I need to find fabric for it still. I'm sure I could pull something out of stash, let's be honest. Maybe I'll use the rest of my vintage that I have. Vintage by Bestitch Me. I'll think about it. Another start that I would like to do in June is, this is kind of haul, but my one piece of haul from Spring Mingle is the fairy house from Mill Hill. I have been staring at this stupid little cottage since this first came out. I think this cottage, this fairy house, is part of why I've become more interested in stitching houses. Outside of the Fantastic House series that Cottage Garden Samplings has, where every time I look at the mushroom house, I think, and also the, what is it, the garden house, greenhouse. I don't want to talk about it. There are so many patterns that I have to eat crow on, because I'm like, in the beginning of my stitching, I'm like, oh, I'm not going to stitch that. That's way too, like, traditional. Like, that seems boring. And now I'm over here like, look how cute. Look how cute. I am obsessed. The little treasure, the little mushroom treasure. This little fairy. So it's very, very hard to tell in the picture, but the vines crawling up this cottage, those are all beads. So what I am thinking of doing is, this is how I foresee my summer going. I'm going to start this because I would also, originally I wanted to start the Raven Queen for Mirabilia May. Obviously that has not happened. I have the fabric. I picked up Gray Magic by Bestitch Me, 32 count. This is what I'm stitching Raven Queen on. There's a lot of beads in Raven Queen. Now, obviously, some people wait until the end to stitch the beads. Some people bead as they go. I want to try beading first to see how I feel. What better way than to do it with a Mill Hill, you know, fucking, they're like top of, what, I don't know what kind of metaphor to use for this example, but they're basically like one of the best companies for beading. So I picked this up at Spring Mingle. Glad I did, because it's sold out now. On Lindy Stitches, it sold out, but I picked this up because I've been eyeing it, and I'm like, now, like, this, it's here in the shopping haul. I'm gonna get this, because this has been something I've been eyeing basically since it was released at the beginning of the year. So I am very excited to start this. Obviously, as a new stitcher, there are many things that I have not tried, beading being one of them, and also stitching on perforated paper. They do provide it. It's this kind of like minty green. And then they provide the beads. I think there's a needle in here. If not, I might buy a separate beading needle. Not sure. Now, folks who have done Mill Hill kits before and have beaded before, I was under the impression that you want to use like aurifil or like a clear thread to bead, that you don't want to use the cotton strands for the beads. But when I watched 123 Stitches Mill Hill beading video, they just used white cotton DMC, I'm assuming, for both the petite seed bead and the normal bead. I mean, obviously there's no rules saying you can't do that, but I just was under the impression that you want to use a clear thread so that the color of the bead is more apparent. Is that not the case? Am I overthinking this? Because I had clear thread in my 123 stitch cart. It's ready to go. Watching that video, though, I am now hesitant, because if that's not the case, I am like, I can just use stash thread. So help a bitch out. How do you bead? Should I invest in a beading needle? I understand that the eye of the beading needle is smaller than a normal needle. Do I need to use a needle threader? Because I don't know how to use a needle. This sounds very, like, stupid of me, but I don't really know how to use a needle threader. Like, I've seen friends use needle threaders, and it still just looks like magic to me. So, either way, this is going to be a start in June so that I can start the Raven Queen sometime this year, hopefully. I know there's Nora Corbett November, but it feels kind of not right to start a Mirabilia in November for Nora Cora November, even though Mirabilia is Nora Corbett. I don't know. Is there another, like, fancy lady month that I'm forgetting? Or do I have to wait until February? Because I'll wait until February. Or maybe I won't. The Raven Queen is kind of spooky, so maybe October start. Could be fun. Yeah. So this is going to be a June start for sure. Raven Queen sometime in the future. As far as other starts go, I know y'all have seen Year in the Woods too, but I signed up for the auto ship of the patterns through Top Knot Stitcher. I'm going to be getting the wolf. Saw this guy, And I just knew immediately I needed him the moment he comes out, because I need to stitch this for my husband. Yes, he loves wolves. It's one of his favorite animals. So I saw this and I was like, gotta stitch that for Sean. I'm not getting the pack, like the thread pack that Top Knot Stitcher is offering. I'm not doing the bundle with the, not bundle, but like I'm also not getting the fabric either. I'm gonna look around, see, because I don't necessarily want, I don't think I want to stitch him on a neutral. I'm kind of maybe thinking like a dark blue or like a really dark green, kind of like Malachite by Fiber on a Whim. We'll see. But I don't know that I want to stitch him on a neutral. So I'm thinking maybe dark green, but we'll see. And lastly, on my plans, finishing the spring section for Nature's Journey. And obviously, hopefully I will have another video before the summer solstice. So hopefully you will see progress on that, and I'll be close to finishing, if not finished, with the spring section on Nature's Journey. That way I can start the summer part on the summer solstice. I'd also like to work more on Siege of Bunny Castle by Long Dog Sampler. That was a goal of mine, to put 500 stitches in this month. I've not done that yet. Maybe I'll try to do it next week, try to maybe get 250 in. It is a long weekend because of Memorial Day, so, and we have no plans this weekend whatsoever, which is great for me. So maybe I'll get a shit ton of stitching done, and I can put some, I'm hoping, because we're not doing anything, that I can get a lot of like my smaller plans that I had set for May done, because I'm gonna be honest, it does. So I brought up my book of days because I'm gonna be honest, y'all. I know that almost every day in this month is full of something. I think I didn't stitch. Yeah, I didn't stitch for 2 days. I didn't stitch on the 1st, and I didn't stitch last Saturday because that's when I went thrift shopping. But I did not get a ton of stitching done this month. I mean, a lot of these. So I unfortunately can't count stitches for Nature's Journey because I couldn't upload it into markup because I'm dumb. Granted, that I'm probably putting between 50 and 100 stitches in when I do work on it. Outside of that, like some days I am putting less than 50 stitches in on some things. It was really, honestly, harder in the beginning. So like 21 stitches on Lover's Promenade, 194 on Stitch for Pride, 43. This one's hard to read, sorry. 163 on Stitch for Pride, 176 on Court of Crows, 116 on Court of Crows, 208 on Stitch for Pride. Sorry. 73 Stitch for Pride, 188 Lover's Promenade. And I mean, like, a lot of it too was I was also focusing on Lover's Promenade and Pixel Prelude to finish them, because they were both over 50%, and I'm like, if I want to start working on larger projects, I want to get a couple of my smaller projects finished. And then there were just some days that I only worked on The Court of Crows release on the 9th was the Baneful banner, which, if I remember correctly, is the largest part for the entire stitch along. It was like 550 something stitches, so it was a lot for me to do in the week. So I focused it. 194, 176, 116, 106. And then this 235 is a mixture. Oh, wow. You could not read that. I'm sorry. This 235, that was a mixture of finishing up Baneful Banner and the flowers for Princess Crow, which was like 30 stitches. It was not a lot. So a lot of my time, because I don't want to say I'm a slow stitcher, because I can get about 100 stitches done in an hour, but I have other things that I need to do. Not like I have children or anything, but I have other hobbies that I partake in, that sort of thing. So this week was very hard. This week was very hard for me to focus, just because of how daunting the Court of Crows piece was. Yeah, so this last week has been really good, though, for stitching, quite frankly. It's just the first 2 weeks of May I really struggled to put in more than 100 stitches on some pieces. So it's just the way it is. So I'm hoping this weekend I can get some decent progress done. Catch up on Burrow Tales. Work on Nature's Journey. Mostly work on Nature's Journey, Burrow Tales, and put some work into Siege of Bunny Castle. So those are my plans. Obviously, who knows if I'll be beholden to them. We're going to move into haul next. So if you're just here for the cross stitch and haul's not really your thing, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't already, please consider liking the video and subscribing to my channel. I upload videos roughly every 2 weeks. I post much more frequently on my Instagram, which is the Sleepy Goblin Crafts. So you can follow me there. Thank you again for hanging out with me. We're going to do haul. Let me go grab it. I went to the thrift store last Saturday, and this is not a like treasure trove, like jackpot type of haul that some people might consider. However, as my first step, I guess, into looking for vintage patterns and cross-stitch things in thrift stores specifically, I feel like I did pretty well. I spent less than $10 on all of this. I mostly want to thank Stephanie at Cross Stitch the Globe for the inspiration that I have felt recently to actively go and search at thrift stores, and also like de-stash groups on Facebook for these types of items. If you don't follow Stephanie, you should check her out. She's got a lot of fun videos, and one of her big things is thrifting vintage cross-stitch patterns and the like. So what really for me, this was like the creme de la creme sort of like find was this guy. I found him. The Regal Rooster from Cross Stitch and Country Crafts, May, June 1995. There he is in all his glory. Thank you, Elizabeth at the Thread Gremlins, for starting him and setting me on a path to find this pattern, because I don't know what it is. He just looks neat. I think he's really cool. There is also a companion piece for him that I really am now like, okay, well, I have to find this one too. It's this Imperial Rooster. So, yeah. This is the only pattern from this specific magazine that I'm like, I'm doing this. So, this was part of a pack of, I want to say, 24-ish magazines. It was like this thick for $3. And there wasn't just one pack of magazines. And there wasn't just 2 packs of magazines. There were 4 packs of magazines, all from the 80s and 90s. I behaved. I only picked up the one magazine pack that had the rooster in it. Because I was like, listen, for $3, if this is the only magazine that I get a pattern out of, it's worth it. It's $3. That didn't stop me from going through the other magazines and picking out which patterns I'm interested in. So we're just gonna go through those really quick. If you like, you can skip ahead to the other things that I've picked up from the same thrift store. Trust me, I'm gonna be hitting up this thrift store very frequently. If this is the type of cross-stitch haul that they like, if this is the type of cross-stitch that they carry regularly, someone has a grandma somewhere in Ann Arbor that they're just tossing these and these are in good condition too, because there is the Scrap Ann Arbor, which is a craft reuse store. They also have cross-stitch magazines available, but they like, and don't get me wrong, like a cross-stitch magazine's a cross-stitch magazine, but those, just because of the like way that some of the paper is, they're more damaged, that sort of thing. These are all fucking like pristine. And I got my little gremlin hands on them and I bookmarked them. So this is another one. This is from September, October 89. This one, let me set the stage. I came home with this stack. I'm sitting on the bed with Sean, just going through everything. I'm sorting them into piles, right? I come across this guy. What the fuck? What the fuck? I lost my shit. I literally screamed. I was like, look at him! What is he? Rabbit Horse Carousel. This energetic fellow is a replica of one of Gustav Denzel's creations, a 19th century German imagery. This master craftsman carved a fantasy menagerie, which includes some of America's most beautifully detailed carousel animals, now museum pieces. Rabbit Carousel. I was losing my shit. He's so funky. I don't even care. So this is technically finished as a pillow. I think it would make a really cute pillow, I'm just saying. And here's the thing that I keep telling myself. Like, if I don't know. I don't know if, like, 20-year-old en-viss would have been as enthralled with funky rabbit carousel horse. That would have been neat, but I don't know if this would have sparked anything for me. But also, simultaneously, I would have been thoroughly impressed that this is from the 80s. I was not expecting carousel horse rabbit on my bingo list of cross-stitch designs. And it looks like this was originally stitched on even weave. No, I take that back. It says that you can stitch it on even weave, but this was framed on damask Ada. Don't know what damask is. Color, maybe? So yeah, that I was thrilled to find. There is also, okay, there's also this, which I thought might be a good small for the Strawberry Moon stitch along. Just these really cute strawberries. Here they have them stitched. I'm assuming this is linen. Yeah. Yes? Napkins. Yeah. Wittenberg linen. It's cute. I actually also don't hate the, like, neutral that it's stitched on. But, yeah. So, there's a... this is going to be kind of hard to show without pattern. Showing the pattern, but, like... There we go. Right? Sure. Ugh. Like a small like that. Could be fun. And then this is, oh sorry, that is Cross Stitch and Country Crafts, May, June 88. This is September, October 88. Once again, we have, these are not strawberries, these are raspberries, but this was really cute. This was also giving a tutorial on how to create a marbling effect for your finishes, which that is a very 80s thing. And then there is this really, I think it's just because I live in a home with chickens and a rooster. Well, we used to have a rooster. I think living with chickens has changed my perspective on chickens and roosters, and I just love them even more. Because there's this pattern, which it's a fucking Rhode Island red in a crate, an apple crate. And then, so there's this one, right? Rhode Island red. Then there's the white leghorn in a bowl. And then there's this one, which is the barred Plymouth Rock in a basket. So now I have to collect the other two so I can have all three. I don't even like country aesthetic. Y'all. Two more magazines. This is March, April 88. This one is a cute sampler. It's a cute spring sampler. This talks about using variegated thread. Obviously in the lettering. I don't think I'd want to do the whole sampler I'm just mostly like this top part here and the birds. The potted plants are fine, but it was mostly the top part. And I mean, if I don't stitch it, I don't stitch it like that. It's just nice having these magazines. And then the last magazine is the September-October 1995 Halloween. Wait, this is not Halloween. This is just September-October. It says, Stitch Our Halloween Scarecrow. Okay. This is another one where I screamed. I lost my shit because I was like, this is so fucking cute. Look at them. The goblins will get you if you don't watch out. Look at them. Look at those rascals. I love them. I love them. They're so cute. The goblins. So this actually does credit the designer, who is Patricia Andrel. And this, from an Playful Goblins frolic atop this excerpt from an ever-popular Halloween poem. You could have fooled me because I don't know what Halloween poem this is from. What are you doing? And then there are these small ornaments, which are little, I believe, these are like little mice and rabbits. Mice and... It says Halloween pals. They mostly look like mice, but a couple of them have long ears, so either way. There's this top one, which is a cute little witch. There's these two. One is a pumpkin, one is a ghost, and this one down here is a little fairy godmother. It's so fucking cute. So I also lost my shit at those, because... Okay. Bunny, yeah, so fairy bunny, witch bunny, pumpkin mouse, and boo mouse. So yeah. And those are Halloween pals. This also has the designer credited, which is Lori Birmingham. So I was very tickled pink to be lucky to find those. On top of those magazines, there was also some books that I grabbed. First being 365 Tiny Cross-Stitch Designs. This is from the American School of Needlework. This is all cooler designs. Obviously, I went through and I bookmarked a ton. Because these are very simple, like, smalls. For example, this is October's selection of patterns. And what's cool is, so there's teapots, you have wreaths, there's like a bunch of themes. You have mini samplers, wreath, flowers of the month, what's this? Zodiac signs, quilt blocks right here, gem fairies right here. So I went through and I basically was like bookmarking each page that had a design that I wanted to just save for like a quick, like I was like, these would make perfect ornament gifts, or like little magnets, little bookmarks, just small accessory things, you know. And don't get me wrong, It's fucking backstitch galore. Because it's... When was this? This was published by Leisure Arts, by the way. I did not say that. And this was published 2000. So... This was a pretty... Again, like, someone went through their grandma's closet who would probably buy and hoard crafting shit, not use it, and dropped it off at the thrift store. I'm gonna save this one for last, because that one I know a lot of people like. So this is a hardcover Holidays and Cross Stitch 1989. This one just has a couple of things that I'm interested in. So I might stitch them sooner rather than later so I can pass this along. This has a lot of, like... Okay, so this is the Vanessa Ann collection. And this is copyright. First printing was 1988, but Holidays and Cross Stitch 1989. But the copyright is 1988, Oxmoor House. This so basically, as the title suggests, it goes through like multiple holidays throughout the year. And these are not all traditional holidays. Like, it starts with Valentine's Day, but then this one, March 16th through the 22nd, is National Wildlife Week, which has these I'm sorry if I'm trying to, here we go. Has these adorable smalls of different animals. And the cool thing about this book too is it does give you the instructions for how to finish like the photo. So this one I bookmarked, and then July 20th is Moon Day. And okay, this one's gonna be a little tougher to show you because the pattern's on the bottom, but this is just the phases of the moon, and my intention is to not stitch all 4 panels. I just want to stitch the fucking face of the moon, this last panel. He looks mischievous. And then this is another pattern that, again, I lost my shit at. I laughed out loud when I saw this because it's so ridiculous. This is for October 1st, which is World Vegetarian Day, and technically there are 2 patterns. So we'll show you this first pattern, which is, I'm trying not to bend the spine too much, peas in a pod. And that was not the one that I screamed at because I was like, nah, peas. But this one, I don't know why I love this one so much. It's just a fat fucking beetroot. And I just love the asymmetry of it because the right side of the line, like the outline, is thicker than the left side. And I was just like, Sean, because again, I'm going through these in bed, and I'm like, Sean, you're gonna just roll your eyes at this, I know. But I need you to look at this. And I need you to understand how much I fucking love this redonkulous beat. Why? It has no business being this thick. So, I love it. It's so stupid. I love it. So, yeah. This was a delightful find. They did, I don't actually know that they had the 1988 one there, but I do know that it exists when I searched this. Oh. Last but not least, I found A Christmas to Remember, which I at first was like, oh boy, Christmas patterns, but then I flipped through. First we have this precious Grandfather Frost by Sandy Orton, carrying a Christmas tree. There's also a small that accompanies it of just a small Christmas tree. And then this is where I was like, I have to snag. I literally, like, I saw this pattern and I just pulled it, like, I put it immediately into my basket because I was like, one day I will stitch this. Woodland Celebration by Teresa Wentzler. Look at that. Good shit. And there's a few other things in here that I was like, this is great. Oh, wait, yeah. There are these Merry Gentlemen as well, which, this one's hard to see because it's in the crease, but it's a bunch of small ornaments. Oh yeah, there's a couple of stockings in here as well, and then the rest is the patterns. So I was thrilled to discover this book. I don't know when I'm going to start any of them this year, if I do decide to start any of them this year. I also got a sewing machine for like $75. So, yeah, that whole I want to try making project bags thing, that's going to be a thing. Okay. Other hobby ongoing things. Still playing Final Fantasy XIV. Not much else outside of stitching. Literally just rotating between those two. However, Eli of Thick Threads has started a monthly virtual stitching group on, there's a chat on Instagram, so if you reach out to him and ask to get invited to the group, we just had our first Zoom chat yesterday, Thursday. It was super chill. We just hung out for like an hour and a half, talked about the motif for the Stitch for Pride, kind of talked about some other stuff, but it was very chill. It was really nice. So if you're interested in like a low-key Stitch group that's virtual, low commitment, just meets every month when we can. So like this was literally our first meetup, so definitely reach out to Eli and see if you can join the Instagram chat, because that's where most of the arrangements happen. So yeah, that was I think that's pretty much it. I am looking forward to Pride this year. Hopefully I can make it to Ipsy's Pride event. If it's part of their first Fridays, like it has been in the last couple of years, I don't know that I'm going to be able to make it, which is a bummer. But there will be other Pride events. So if you have a local Pride event happening, definitely be sure to attend, or at least attempt to attend, because those types of events, that is where the queer community, like, that is the easiest way that you can help the queer community. So try and do that, yeah? Honestly, it's very easy. You just show up, you hang out with a bunch of queer gay people, and then you go home. So I will see you guys next time. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. I hope you are doing well. Stay safe. Take care. Bye. I am stitching this. Y'all good? Gwen, why is your tail that big? You good? That is not a toy! God. This actually does credit the designer, who is Patricia... Hi. I'm in the middle of something. Yeah. You have 20 minutes. Will you let me finish? Please and thank you. Hello. You're fine.